Good morning. This is Benton Dorsey with the Cinematic Mental Health Movement. It is September 19th, about 8 a.m. I wanted to read something that has really meant a lot to me over the years. I've gone back and back to it. And I know in some of the other videos you've heard Nick Hansen, aka Johnny Butters, talk about Kay Jamison Redfield. She's written some great books. The one I'm referring to right now is called An Unquiet Mind. And in the back, she has an epilogue. So I'm going to read it. And I don't want to go too fast, but I know being read to can be very boring. But here we go. It says, I've often asked myself whether, given the choice, I would choose to have manic depression or depressive illness. If lithium were not available to me or didn't work for me, the answer would be a simple no. And it would be an answer laced with terror. But lithium does work for me. And therefore I suppose I can afford to pose the question. Strangely enough, I think I would choose to have it. It's complicated. Depression is awful beyond words or sounds or images. I would not go through an extended one again. It bleeds relationships through suspicion, lack of confidence, self-respect, the inability to enjoy life, to walk or talk or think normally, the exhaustion, the night terrors, the day terrors. There is nothing good to be said for it except that it gives you the experience of how it must be to be old and sick, to be dying, to be slow of mind, to be lacking in grace, polish, and coordination, to be ugly, to have no belief in the possibilities of life, the pleasures of sex, the exquisiteness of music, or the ability to make yourself and others laugh. Others imply they know what it's like to be depressed. Because they have gone through a divorce, lost a job, or broken up with someone. But these experiences carry with them feelings. Depression instead is flat, hollow, and unendurable. It is also tiresome. People cannot abide being around you when you are depressed. They might think that they ought to. People, they might think that they ought to, and they might even try, but you know, and they know that you are tedious beyond belief. You're irritable and paranoid and humorless and lifeless and critical and demanding, and no reassurance is ever enough. And you're not at all like yourself, but will be soon. But you know you won't. So why? Why would I want anything to do with this illness? Kay Jamison Redfield asked in the epilogue to Unquiet Mind. She says, because I honestly believe that as a result of this, I have felt more things more deeply, had more experiences more intensely, loved more and been loved more, laughed more, often for having cried more often, appreciated more the springs, for all the winters worn death, as close as dungarees appreciated it, and life, more seen the finest and most terrible in people, and slowly learned the values of caring, loyalty, and seeing things through. I have seen the breadth and depth and width of my mind and heart, and seen how frail they both are, and how ultimately unknowable they both are. Depressed, I have crawled on my hands and knees in order to get across the room, and have done it for month after month. But normal or manic, I have run faster, thought faster, and loved faster than most I know. And I think much of this is related to my illness. The intensity it gives to things, and perspective it forces on me. I think it has made me test the limits of my mind, which while wanting is holding, and the limits of my upbringing, family, education, and friends. The countless hypomanias and mania itself all have brought into my life different levels of sensing and feeling. Elements they will be there until, as Lowell put, even when I have been most psychotic, delusional, hallucinating, frenzied, I have been aware of finding new corners in my mind and heart. Some of these corners were incredible and beautiful. It took my breath away. It made me feel as though I could die right then in the images which sustained me. Some of them were grotesque and ugly, and I never wanted to know they were there to see them again. But always, there were those new corners, and when feeling the normal self, beholden for that self, to medicine and love, I cannot imagine becoming jaded to life because I know of those limitless corners with their limitless views. Kay Jamison Redfield is a doctor that also has bipolar disorder. She's written Unquiet Mind, and I think Nick's talked about some other books she's written. She is a fantastic advocate for the mentally ill because she's a psychiatrist and well, she's a doctor. I want to say she's a psychiatrist, but definitely a doctor who also advocates for mentally ill. So, again, my name is Benton Dorsey with the Cinematic Mental Health Movement, and I'm signing off. Peace.